Hello dear students. In last lecture we have started chapter 2 matrices, and we have started with some review about syllabus of 11, definition of matrix, its construction. Then we have also seen types of matrices, and at the end of the lecture we have seen different types of operations on matrices like addition, subtraction, multiplication of matrices. Now we are going to consider the next concept about matrices, and that is, here we are going to start the actual syllabus of 12th, and it starts with the concept of elementary transformations. So first we are going to consider elementary transformations on matrices, and that starts with types of transformations or types of elementary operations on matrices. First, we must understand the meaning and application of these elementary transformations on matrices. Actually, elementary transformations helps us to find inverse of a matrix, which is very essential concept, and that is useful in finding solutions of all types of systems of linear equations. We know that systems of linear equations is an important concept of linear algebra. So the elementary transformations of a matrix are totally of 6 types, and out of these 6 elementary transformations, 3 are due to the rows and 3 elementary transformations are due to columns. The transformations due to rows, they are called as row transformations, and transformations due to columns, they are called as column transformations. Remember that on the given matrix A, if you applying any transformation, then due to that transformation the matrix never remains as it is. It getting changed into some another matrix, and when it get into another matrix, we will observe that the matrix is not equal to the previous original matrix. In that case, we are saying that the new matrix is equivalent to original matrix, and it is denoted by A equivalent to B. So here, after elementary transformation, the matrix obtained is said to be equivalent to the original matrix, and it is denoted by A equivalent to B, which is the notation given here. This way you can consider concept of elementary transformations. So remember that 3 row transformations and 3 column transformations are there. So let us start with first type. The first type of elementary transformation is interchange of any 2 rows or interchange of any 2 columns. If we interchange the ith row with a jth row, then all elements of ith row going into jth row and all elements of jth row are going into ith row, and this interchange of rows transforms the original matrix to a new matrix. Here the representation of the transformation is done by this notation: Ri taken to Rj and Rj taken to Ri, and it is also denoted sometimes by Rij. So likewise, row transformation we can consider a similar column transformation also, and that is nothing but we can interchange any 2 columns. The interchange of columns is denoted by Ck changes to Ci and Ci changes to Ck, which is represented here, or it is also denoted by Cki, like Rij. Remember that here row is denoted by R and column of the matrix is denoted by C. With the example we get it clear. So consider a matrix A, and that consisting of elements first row 1 2 and second row 3 4. Then if we apply the transformation interchange of first and second row, that is R1 taken to R2 and R2 taken to R1, then it gives you the matrix that consisting of Here the second row is 3, 4 that appears as a first row in the new matrix, and the first row is 1, 2 in a original matrix that appears as second row in a new matrix. In this way you can consider interchange of first and second row for the given matrix A. Similarly, we can consider the change of columns. Suppose we considering the original matrix, and from this original matrix A, suppose we using the transformation, that is C1 changes to C2 and C2 changes to C1. So it is clear that here this is your original matrix A, and on this matrix again we are going to apply this transformation C12, that is interchange of first and second column. Now we will observe that this is your first column that will appear as a second column, and the second column 2, 4 that will appear as a first column. So you will observe that this gives you the resultant, that is consisting of the second column 2, 4 as a first column in a new matrix, and the first column 1, 3 that is appearing as a second column. This way we can consider the interchange of columns. Now the speciality of this is that you will observe that the matrix A gives you this matrix due to the first and second row change, or the matrix A gives you this matrix due to the change of first and second column. Remember that this matrix A is not equal to new matrix, or this matrix A is not equal to this matrix. That is only we have to take into consideration. So due to these transformations we will observe that A is not equal to the first matrix, that is 3, 4, 2, 1 which is considered here. A is not equal to this matrix, as well as you will observe that A is also not equal to the matrix, that is 2, 1, 3, 4, 3. Actually when we considering matrices obtained in this way due to the row transformations, so here A is changing to this matrix, and therefore we will say that these two matrices are not equal but they are equivalent, and therefore we write A is equivalent to the matrix 3, 4, 1, 2, and due to the column interchange we getting this matrix, so A is not equal to this, therefore we will say that A is equivalent to the matrix 2, 1, 4, 3. That is our next matrix. So in this way you will observe that they are not equal, they are equivalent matrices. That is an important thing. The next, that is second transformation, is multiplication of elements of any row or any column by a non-zero scalar. That is, you can multiply any row or any column by a scalar. Now see, if k is any scalar means real number, and if Ri is a ith row, then the constant k can multiply to the row Ri, that is every element in Ri get multiplied by this scalar k. Similarly, you can consider the same transformation in columns also, but initially we are going to think about this. The notation used for this operation, that is k times Ri, that is ith row get multiplied by scalar k, or it is also sometimes denoted by Ri changes to k times Ri. This way you can consider the multiplication of a row. Now see actually what happens. Suppose we considering A is equal to the matrix, that is 0, 2 and 3, 4. Then if we performing the transformation R2 taken to 4R2, this is your second row, and this second row is multiplied by 4, that is 3 into 4 you getting 12 here, and 4 into 4 that gives 16 here. So let us see what it gives. There is no any change in first row, 0, 2 remains as it is, but here 3 into 4 that is 12 and 4 into 4 that is 16. So this is your new matrix. Again this given matrix A is equivalent to this new matrix which is considered here. This way you can consider the second type of transformation, that is multiplication of row by a scalar. Similarly, we can consider multiplication of a column by a scalar. So that is only written here. Similarly, we if any column of a matrix is to be multiplied by a constant, then multiply every element of that column by that constant. And in this case, the notation is used, that is k times CL, or CL is taken to k times CL. Now, if you considering here the transformation, let us see what is actual happening in case of example. So, A is equal to the matrix that is consisting of elements 1, 2 as a first row, 3, 4 as a second row, and I am going to use the transformation, that is C1 is taken to minus 3 C1. This is your first column 1, 3, and that is multiplied by the element minus 3. So, it gives you multiplication of this first column by minus 3. So, here you will get minus 3 into 1, that is minus 3, and here you will get 3 into minus 3, that is minus 9. So, this has resulted. So, you will observe that minus 3 minus 9 is your first column now in the new matrix. This way you can consider multiplication of any row or any column by a scalar k. The third type of transformation is adding the scalar multiple of all elements of any row or any column to the corresponding elements of any other row or any other column. Means multiple of one row is added to the another row, or multiple of one column is added to the another column. Now see actually how this works. Suppose k is a non-zero scalar, that is it is a real number, non-zero real number. Then the k multiples of elements of Ri or column Ci are to be added to the elements of Rj or Cj. Then the transformation is denoted by Rj taken to Rj plus k times Ri this way, or Cj taken to Cj plus k times Ci. So, while we using this transformation, remember that the elements of Ri multiplied by k, this change is temporary. This makes the changes in Rj only, Ri remains as it is, or here the change happens in Cj only, this Ci remains as it is. With the example we get it clear. Suppose we have given the matrix, that is A is equal to the minus 1 4 at a first row and 2 5 as a second row. Then if we considering k is equal to 2 as a multiple and we considering the transformation, R1 is taken to R1 plus 2 R2, that is you have to consider this R2. This R2 is multiplied by 2. So, here what we will get? Here you will get 4 and here you will get 10 as a temporary change. That we have to add in first. So, see how that gives. So, A is resulting as, you will observe that minus 1 plus 2 into minus 2, sorry, minus 1 plus 2 into 2 will be there. Similarly, at second position 4 into 2 into 5, that is 4 plus 10 is there, and the second row remains as it is. I told you that there is no change in this second row, that done only for the change in R1, not in R2. 2 5 remains as it is in the resultant also, there is no change in this. And we will observe that here the actual matrix we getting here minus 1 plus 4, that is 3 here, and 4 plus 10, that is 14 here. There will be no any change in second row, that remains as it is. The same thing is possible in case of column transformations also. Suppose on the same you are going to use the transformation, that is C1 minus C2. Now, if you considering C1 minus C2, actually this transformation is nothing but C1 plus minus 1 times C2, that is of the type Cj is equal to or is taken to Ci plus Cj plus A times Ci. This type of transformation is there. Now, if you're considering C1 minus C2, then you have to consider A is the given matrix that is given here, and you have considered K as now minus 1 because minus 1 is the value here, and now this A changes to, that is, it is equivalent to what? C1 minus C2. So minus 1 minus 4, it is minus 5 as a first column, and 2 minus 5, it is minus 3, 2 and minus 5, this, that will minus 3. Is there any change in second column? No, that remains 4, 5 as it is. So this is your resultant change. This way you can perform the similar type of transformation in case of columns also. This is the way. Now, after considering this, you have to remember that the key points are, whenever you considering Rj changes to Rj plus KRi, Ri remains as it is like a original matrix. Similarly, when you performing Cj changes to Cj plus KCi, Ci, that remains as it is as a original matrix. And always remember that after the elementary transformation, matrix obtained is said to be equivalent matrix, not equal matrix, and it is written as A equivalent to B. Is it clear? Okay. Now we have to solve some examples which are based on these transformations. That is our first exercise, exercise 2.1 from Maharashtra State Board. See, what is the question? Apply the given elementary transformations on each of the following matrices. Suppose we considering A is equal to the matrix 1 0 minus 1 3, and we want to interchange this R1 with R2. That is, this second row will appear as a first row and first row as a second row. You have to interchange these two. Okay. Similarly, here the matrix and its transformation is given. Here the matrix and its transformation is given. Here the matrix and its transformation is given. So there are totally 8 examples. These first 6 are similar. Actually, first 4 are similar. In fifth, what happens? You have to consider the transformation on this matrix, that is 3R3 first, and then it is followed by C3 plus 2C2. Means you have to perform the operation 3R3 first on A, and then the resultant matrix you getting, on that you have to apply this second transformation. So this is your first transformation, and it is followed by this second transformation. The same thing is here also. C3 plus 2C2 is followed by 3R3. What happens in 7th example? You have given a matrix. You want to reduce that to a upper triangular matrix. Sometimes we need to reduce that to the lower triangular matrix also. And in last example, you have given a matrix A, and we need to convert the matrix to an identity matrix I. We know that identity matrix is nothing but 1 0 0 1, and using elementary transformations, it is possible to reduce the given matrix A to identity matrix. But remember that this is possible if and only if determinant of A is not equal to 0. This is an important property, that any matrix get converted into an identity matrix. So this is the way to consider solutions of these examples. So we are going to see actual video while solving these examples. So let us start that video now. We are going to consider solution of exercise 2.1 from the second topic, matrices, and that is, question is, apply the given elementary transformations on each of the following matrices. Suppose the first question is A is equal to 1 0 minus 1 3, and the operation given here R1 and R2 interchange. We know that this is also denoted by this notation R12. Now, to consider this transformation, it is clear that this is R1 and this is R2. We have to interchange them, and therefore the solution will be like this: A equivalent. We know that due to the transformation we getting equivalent matrices. So A is equivalent to, now second row -1 3, that will appears as a first row, and first row 1 0, that will appears as a second row. This way you can consider solution of first example. The second sub question, that is matrix B contains 1 -1 3 and 2 5 4, and here the expected operation is R1 is taken as R1 minus R2. To consider this operation, it is clear that this is your R1, this is your R2, and in a new matrix, say B is equivalent to, you have to replace the first row R1 by R1 minus R2. This is R1, R2, so 1 minus 2, it is -1 at 1 1 position, -1 minus 5, -6 at 1 2 position, and 3 minus 4, -1 at 1/3 position. Due to this type of operation, there will be no any change in second row, that is 2 5 4, that remains as it is. Then the third sub question, that consisting of A is equal to the matrix, that is 5 4 1 3, and on this we have to apply the transformation interchange columns, first and second column. We know that this is always denoted by C12 also. So if you considering this operation, this is your first column, this is your second column, we want to interchange them. So due to that, your matrix A, that now changes to, so A is equivalent to first column coming as a second column, that is first column 5 1 as a second column, and second column 4 3, that's coming as second column, first column. Now in a same example, the another matrix is given, and that is matrix B is given to be 3 1 4 5, and on this the expectation is R12. So if you consider R12, then on this matrix B, if you applying R12, that is interchange first and second row, then in that case we will get the another matrix that is equivalent to B. So 4 5, second row will appear as a first row, and 3 1, that is first row will appear as a second. Now you will observe that these are same. 4 5 3 1, 4 5 3 1. Here we will observe that the starting matrices are different. A is 5 4 1 3 and B is 3 1 4 5. They are distinct, but the resultant is possible to consider as same, because that depends on operations we have used. Now example 4, and that example 4 has a matrix A, that is 1 2 -1 0 1 3, and on this we expecting the operation 2 times C2, that is this is your column C2, and for this second column we have to multiply by 2. So therefore the solution will be A becomes equivalent to first column and third column, they remains as it is. So first column 1 0 as it is. Now here we have to multiply by 2, so you will get 4 2, and third column also as it is. In this way you will get the resultant for 4. In the same, you have also given the another one, that is matrix B is 1 0 2 and 2 4 5, and on this you have to apply transformation minus 3 times R1. You can do this yourself also. Next question is question number 5, that is you have given a matrix A, that is of order 3 by 3. It is 1 -1 3 2 1 0 and 3 3 1. and on this we have to use the transformation 3 times R3, and then you have to consider the next transformation, that is C3 plus 2C2. Now whenever we consider this type of example, here it is clear that on this matrix A, first you have to apply the transformation 3R3. So 3R3 means multiply this third row by 3. So there will be no any change in first and second row. They will remains as it is. But now you have to multiply by 3. So 3 into 3, 9. 3 into 3, 9. And 1 into 3, that is 3. This is your resultant matrix. Then on this matrix itself, you have to apply the next transformation. So again it is becoming equivalent to the another matrix. Here the transformation is C3 plus 2C2. This is your third column. And there will be a change in third column. But what is the change? You have to multiply the second column by 2. So if you multiply the second column by 2, here you will get minus 2, 2 and 18. And these elements you have to add in this third column. Therefore, if you consider here the elements in a resultant matrix, then there will be no change in first column. There will be no change in second column also. Minus 1, 1, 9. But now the third column is added by these elements. So 3 minus 2, it is 1. 0 plus 2, it is 2. And 3 plus 18, that is 21. In this way, you can consider the resultant matrix after the second transformation. Sixth example is similar to the fifth one, and therefore now we are going to consider directly the seventh one. The seventh one is using suitable operation. Using suitable operation on the matrix 1, 2, 3, 4. Reduce it to U. We know that U means upper triangular matrix. So upper triangular matrix means we know that there will be a existence of diagonal for a square matrix. This is your diagonal for a square matrix, and if all elements below the diagonal are 0, that is we have to reduce this element to 0, then the elements are existing in upper triangle, and that is called as upper triangular matrix. So to make this 0, you have to use the operation R2 minus 3 times R1. If you multiply by this, by 3, then you will get 3 here and 6 here, and 3 minus 3, that becomes 0. So therefore, you have to consider the matrix A. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. On this, we are going to use the transformation R2 minus 3R1. Due to this, what happens? You have to consider there will be no any change in first row, that remains as it is. And now second row becomes 3 minus 3, it is 0. And 4 minus 6, it is minus 2. So now you will observe that this is upper triangular matrix. And the last example of this, that is convert matrix 1 minus 1 2 3 to identity matrix of order 2 by using row transformations. To consider this, you have to consider the given matrix A, that is 1 minus 1 2 3. To reduce this matrix to identity matrix, we know that identity matrix is nothing but of the type 1 0 0 1. That is, this element we have to make 1, that is already 1. This element we have to make 0. This element we have to make 1, and then this element we have to make 0. And therefore, to consider this, you have to consider the first transformation on A, that is to reduce this element to 0. It is clear that if you multiply this by 2, then 2 minus 2, that becomes 0. That is first row multiplied by 2 and that is subtracted from second row. So the operation is R2 minus 2R1. And with this, you will get, there will be no actual change in first row. 1 minus 1 that remains as it is. This change is temporary. And therefore, 2 minus 2, 0. 3 minus of minus 2. That is plus. Then, on this, now we have to use the suitable operations so that this becomes 1. Because here we are expecting 1 in identity matrix. So, to make this 1, on the same matrix, we are going to use the transformation 1 by 5 times R2. Because we have to use only row transformations. And therefore, you can consider there will be no any change in first row, that remains as it is. Here we will consider 0. And what is 5 upon 5? It is 1. Second row, actually 0 by 5, it is 0. And 5 by 5, it is 1. Now only one operation we require, and that is to make this element 0, you have to consider R1 plus R2. So consider R1 plus R2. Due to R1 plus R2, you will get 1 and 0, because 1 plus 0, it is 1, and minus 1 plus 1, it is 0, and there will be no change in second row. So 1 0 0 1, that is matrix A is converting to the identity matrix. Therefore, we will say that A is equivalent to I. The speciality of such a type of matrices which converts to the identity matrix is that determinant of A should not be 0. Then and then only it is converting to the identity matrix. Otherwise, when determinant is equal to 0, the matrix A is not convertible to I. And when determinant of A is not equal to 0, then that gives us the next concept, that is called as inverse of a matrix. That is our next concept which we are going to consider now. Now the next concept is concept of inverse of a matrix, and we have seen that elementary transformations or elementary column transformations can be used to find inverse of a matrix. But before that, we must know what is the concept of inverse. So now we've learned first the concept of inverse of a matrix. To understand this concept, consider one simple example. Suppose we considering here an element 8. Then its reciprocal is, we know that 1 by 8. And we know that the inverse of a matrix, here we will observe that the inverse of a matrix is the same idea. That is, reciprocal of a number and reciprocal of a matrix is the same thing. See how that is. Consider a matrix A, and if we consider its inverse, then it is 1 by A. We know that for any letter 1 by A, we not writing 1 by A, we writing this as A raised to minus 1, and this A raised to minus 1 is nothing but a notation for inverse. So in real numbers, the concept of reciprocal and in matrix algebra, the concept of inverse, they are similar. Now see what considered here. So we writing A raised to minus 1 for inverse and not 1 upon A for inverse. Always remember that. Now, what are the similarities here? When we multiply a number by its reciprocal, 8 into 1 by 8, what happens? Yes, it is 1. Okay. Now let us see what happens. A into A inverse. So when we multiply a matrix by its inverse, we have just seen that when a number is multiplied by its reciprocal, then we getting 1. Similarly, when a matrix is multiplied by its inverse, we getting 1, but that 1 in matrix algebra is nothing but identity matrix. So the resultant is I, and that always behaves like 1 in case of matrices. So what is expected here? I is a matrix of this type 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, but this is possible if the given matrix A is also matrix of order 3 by 3. If given matrix A is matrix of order 2 by 2, then you will get 1 0 0 1, and therefore it is clear that the order of this I, that depends on order of this given matrix A. Is it clear? Now, inverse of a matrix therefore defined as, if A is a square matrix of order M. So first condition is it must be a square matrix, and if there exists another matrix B of the same order again, such that BA is equal to AB is equal to I. So this is your definition. For the given matrix A, if there exists another matrix B of the same order which is a square matrix, such that BA is equal to AB is equal to I, then this matrix B is called as inverse of A, that is represented here. B is called as inverse of A. It is always denoted by A raised to minus 1, and therefore if you considering this relation, that changes to A raised to minus 1 into A and A into A raised to minus 1, that is equal to I, because B is replaceable by A raised to minus 1. Now we have to consider some important things about the existence of inverse. In order to invert any matrix, the important condition is determinant of A should not be 0. That is, we expecting always a non-singular matrix. And next we have to consider, if A is a square matrix, determinant of A not equal to 0, then its inverse is matrix B is always unique. Whatever may be matrix A given to you, its inverse if considered as matrix B, then that matrix B is always unique. So there exists unique inverse for the matrix. Now we are going to consider how to find inverse of a matrix using elementary row and column transformations. Okay, that is our next concept, and we are going to start with inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix using row and column transformations. Then we will see inverse of 2 by 2 matrix with inverse of 3 by 3 matrix also with elementary column transformations, but we will discuss about this concept in a next lecture. So thank you very much.